Here we are again. This is Brother Peter with tidbits from the Word. If there's anything at all that we've established since we've started doing these tidbits from the Word, and that is God is the one that started it all. He's the one that holds it all in place, and He's the one that's going to finish it all. He created the heavens and the earth. He formed them. He spoke them into existence. He came down here. He did some handiwork. He made a man. He made a woman. He made the animals. And He made the seas. He made the skies above. He separated all of the things. He hung the moon and the stars and the sun and told them, made an agreement with them, a covenant, if you please, with them, that they would stay where He put them and not move. They would do what they were supposed to do. A tree, by the way, has never, ever evoluted into anything. It has never changed. It is exactly the same today as it was when God made it. Every molecule, everything that tree does, every drop of air that it puts out for man to breathe, it holds its own balance. It's the balance of it has never changed. It's perfectly balanced. If it wasn't, we would all die. Man has to have air. When God created man, He gave him a set of lungs. That set of lungs has to have exactly the right amount of oxygen and the right amount of everything to make this body function. God made it that way. Anybody that would just look for a second at the technology of a body would have to realize that somebody higher than a Big Bang did it. That somebody higher than even the human mind could imagine. The mind today of any doctor, I don't care who he is, surgical, brain doctor, I don't care who he is, his mind would not be sharp enough to make the workings of one finger without having the example before his eyes, and then he could make a look-alike, but that look-alike would be dead and would die. This is a living finger. Hey, and by the way, I can talk to you, I can read, I can do all kinds of things, and at the same time my brain allows me to do this. Well, they think the computer is really something. People think the computer is really something. Did you know that this body is a computer? This body is fitly put together, and it all works. What you need to do someday is get a stethoscope, put it over by a microphone, put it on your body, and listen to your body work. Your body is a factory. It is a factory. It is a living, pumping, acting factory. You could take any plant in the world that makes automobiles, that makes yarn, that turns cotton into thread, or whatever they do, make sheets with a whole bunch of count, or whatever, all of the complexity of everything in the world, and put it together, and you would not come up with the complexity of a man, of a person. The complexity of a person is astounding. It's astounding, and it's mind-baffling. And by the way, it's created to where that without sin, it would have completely, every 7 years, renewed itself to where you have a new body every 7 years. If you were 30 years old and you were going to maintain 30 years old in the prime of your health and everything, and if you were going to maintain that and never grow any older, never grow any younger, or stay right there and forever, you could do it, because without time, even every 7 years, you would be made a new person. So therefore, you would have a body that would last and last and last and last and last and last. And so, therefore, we have established God created everything. But we saw it back in Now these excerpts that we're doing right now are on Genesis chapter 1 through, and we're going to continue on. But we saw the I wills of God in chapter 6. God said, I will establish my covenant. I will establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark. This is after he had told Noah to build the ark and to come in. And God was establishing his covenant with Noah and his 7 other people. 8 altogether. 8 people were going to be spared on the earth. 8. And so he said he was going to destroy every other living thing that was on the earth. And he was only going to keep alive those, and the male and the female of each of the unclean animals, and 7 of the clean. Remember that? And the reason why he kept the 7 of the clean was God requires the first fruits of every man's actions. You say, well, the actions that Noah did were commanded to him by God. Correct. And God said he commanded you and I that we would make the bread that we put on our table by the sweat of our face. And he said, no, I require that you put the first fruits of everything you do it to me. Give it to me. The first fruits. The best. I want it first, and I want it now. I want it when you get it. That's when I want it. I want it then. So God's going to give the first fruits to us now. Now here we go into the 7th chapter, where Noah, and the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and thy house into the ark. I have seen righteous before me this generation. Wow. Do you know that what God was saying? That he was starting a new generation, a righteous generation. And he looked forward in time, and he said, I am going to make a righteous generation come out of your loins, Noah. Now, just as when we study the Bible, we're going to go up through, later on in the years, we're going to find out that the Lord would not let King David build the temple of the Lord because of the bloodshed that had been in his family. But right here, for some reason, he was not going to take Noah and make Noah the first Jewish guy, or the first Abraham, or the father of the Jewish people. He was going to take Noah and just have him start and replenish the earth again. Now there's a great study needs to be handled here. Between chapter 7 and chapter 9, there's a great thing that needs to be handled here. That, for instance, like, study the children of Noah, and when they started having grandchildren of Noah, or when they started having children, and when they married, and when their sons married, and how many years it was, for instance, before the world was back repopulated. And by the way, at the time of the flood, the earth was covered completely around by people. It had been 1,600 years since God had made the heavens and the earth. It had been 1,600 years since God had put man and woman on the earth and told them to replenish the earth, multiply, fill it up with people. And that's what was happening in that day. Now, it's been good to be with you with this excerpt today. We're going to be doing another one in continuation with this one. And these are numbered, and you can pick out the numbers, and you can tell where we're going to be by the numbers. And if you're going to follow these, you can just follow the numbers, and we're going to come through some of the Bible with these